Hey guys, Frightener22 here, and I'm back and here to formally welcome everybody to my 31 Frightening Days of Halloween Marathon. So I just want everybody to sit back, relax, and enjoy all the frightening festivities that's sure to come all month long, because as I stated in my original announcement, every single day for the month of October I will be presenting something horror-themed, reviewing them, whether it be a movie, a television special, a cartoon, or anything. There's tons of surprises and tons of cool stuff coming the entire month. So every day, be sure to check back. So without further ado, guys, I'd like to present you guys with October 1st's the first review of the month, and that is 1996, The Frighteners. Now, this is a film that I've always really loved, and this is one of those films that is so everything is just so wildly imaginative about it. I mean, all the key elements in this film are really there. I mean, you have a really wonderful um, director that is Peter Jackson in this, and it's the direction is guided so well, and everything else is really brightened up by the magnificent and varied and unique casting, the wonderful visual effects, and just that really great balance of frightening and funny. So I mean, there's just so many great things about this movie, but with all that said, it's almost unfortunate to say that this is just one of those films that has gotten so underrated, I felt, as the years have gone on. But being that this is the 13th anniversary, how fitting is that, I know, but this is the 13th anniversary of this film, and I couldn't have done a review this month without having to review this. So I'm really pleased to make this film my first review of the month. So the story behind this film is that it stars Michael J. Fox, and he stars as Frank Bannister, who is like a small town ghostbuster, and he's supposed to be exorcising spirits, but he's actually scamming people in the process, and these ghosts that he's supposed to be exorcising are actually his accomplices in the scams. So as the scams are continuing, there actually appears to be a really powerful spirit amongst the town that is going on a murderous rampage, forcing Frank to go along and stop this the diabolical ghoul that's behind all the murderous rampage throughout the town. So I mean, as I've said, the casting in this film was really spot on. I mean, I am a gigantic Michael J. Fox fan, and this film is probably sadly, it was probably one of the last live action appearances that you had seen from Michael J. Fox, the other one being from the same year in the Tim Burton Mars Attacks film. So, I mean, it's really that wonderful balance that Michael J. Fox always brought to whatever film he did, with that really great, dry, comedic sense of humor that he brought so beautifully to, the television series like Family Ties, and of course, his claim to fame with the Back to the Future series. So his cast, I mean, him casted as the lead is just so special. And I mean, this film is something that people should really look back on and really recall just why Michael J. Fox was so great. I mean, it is really easy to cite the Back to the Future trilogy as a great example, but I think The Frighteners is certainly a film really worthy of looking back on to see why Michael J. Fox was such a great talent that he is, because he's just got an incredible ability to juggle comedy and drama, and of course in this film bringing the fright and terror to it. So, in addition to his casting, there's just a really great varied casting that would really whet any extreme horror fan's appetite. I mean, you have John Astin of the original Addams Family television series fame. You have the wonderful Dee Wallace Stone of Cujo fame, among many, many other horror films. Most recently, Rob Zombie's 2007 remake of Halloween. You have the incredible and bizarre Jeffrey Combs playing a demented FBI agent who investigates paranormal cases, and he is just phenomenal. I mean, his appearance in the film alone is probably the most engaging and twisted characters in the whole film. It's a real delight watching him on screen the entire time. So the casting is really spot on, as I've said. In addition to those great names, you also have the really incredible early performance from Jake Busey, who you would see a year later in the Robert Zemeckis directed film Contact, and he has just got these incredibly freaky eyes that really just draw you in and terrify the shit out of you. So, I mean, the casting is totally there. The score in this movie is beautifully well done by the great Danny Elfman, who many people recognize as Tim Burton's go-to man. And aside from all of the scores he's done with Tim Burton, The Frighteners is probably one of his best scores. It really, truly harks back to the score that he did on Beetlejuice, which is also one of his most fantastic scores that he's ever put to the screen. But his score in The Frighteners is just truly marvelous. I mean, really, creepy and dreadful, and just really great. It really rings true. Really rings true in your ear every time you hear it. The visual effects at the time. I mean, this was a film that was shot, as I said, 13 years ago, back in 1996, and the visuals and the special effects in this film truly stand up today after 13 years. Because back when this was made, this was a film that was really pushing the envelope of the CG, computer-generated special effects that we have, come to know as really common nowadays. But this was a film that required just about 500 computer-generated shots. So at the time, it was really pushing the envelope. On this director's cut of the DVD, Peter Jackson actually explains that his production company that we're working on had one computer at the time, and they actually brought in 35 computers to work on the special effects shots in this film. And he was actually so paranoid at the time as to what he was going to do with these 35 computers that he had. So his paranoia of what he was going to do with them led to his early phone calls pursuing the Lord of the Rings projects, because he was just so paranoid about having all these computers now in his workspace, but nothing to do with them. So it's a really interesting fact that his his paranoia about what to do with all these leftover computers would would be the small seed that would plant his gigantic fame into the Lord of the Rings. So it is really interesting and funny to note. So another interesting note to add is that in addition to Danny Elfman's wonderful score, the film also ends on a really, really wonderful cover version of Blue Oyster Cult's "Don't Fear the Reaper," covered by the Mutton Birds. It truly is a really wonderful and fantastic cover of the song, and a really, really fitting ending song to go over the end titles. So, I mean, truthfully, guys, if there's any film that I can really recommend anybody to get into the Halloween spirit early this month, I would have to absolutely recommend this film. I mean, it is just so wildly imaginative, just, tons of great shocks, tons of hilarious scenes, courtesy of the two bumbling, ghosts that are helping Michael J. Fox's character throughout the film, Cyrus and Stewart, and they just add, the greatest comic relief to the film. And I mean, their chemistry in the film is another worthy reason to check this out, because it truly is just, a great chemistry amongst actors in this film. So, that said, I really have to, just encourage people to go out and really see this film, because it has gone underrated for so many years. But I am starting to see an increase in the desire to see this movie, especially after all the fame that Peter Jackson has garnered, what with The Lord of the Rings and the King Kong film that he did back in 2005. So I'm really happy to see that more and more people, as the years go on, are starting to take a little bit more notice to this great, wonderful gem from 1996. And, I really can't speak any more highly about it. So if you guys have not seen this, I don't know what you're waiting for. Check it out. For all you guys that have seen this and come to love it, pop this back into the DVD player. Enjoy for what it is this Halloween season, because it truly is great. So if there's, one thing that I really could say to Universal after making such a great film is, where's my Blu-ray of this movie? Because I am dying to see what this film looks like on Blu-ray. That's really all I can truly say is Universal, get your asses in gear on this one. So guys, thanks again for tuning in to my first review of the month. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as I review one of my favorite horror films of all time. And don't forget, the entire month, every single day, I will be reviewing something horror-themed, whether it be a movie, a TV show, or a cartoon special. Thanks again, guys. See you tomorrow.